go. And there we are. You know, speed is not that bad. It's not that terrible. I ran a benchmark test on it, and I haven't ran a speed test yet. The speed test, you know, I don't know if if I want to even use it, because again, like I said, you know, already you can tell it's not that fast, you know, because of where I'm located. But the benchmark was fairly decent. I was actually surprised from the results. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Pinch to zoom is not very responsive. I mean, it's not fast, I would say. Yeah, it's just a complete lag. You know, it needs to load a little more. But I mean, it already stopped loading, and yet, you know, I've noticed that after it finishes loading, and after giving it a few seconds, you know, it would go a little faster. But I mean, yeah. I'm a little disappointed with that, but other than that, you know, I'm okay with that. It's not a deal breaker, at least for me, in my opinion. So let's get out of there, and let's go right into the benchmark. Now, I ran this before, but I'm gonna go ahead and run it again. Let's see here, and it also came equipped with the benchmark as well. So that was when I first got the phone last week, and I go to the results. And it is under the HTC Desire, running on Android 2.2. That is very, very surprising. So that's my device right there, the third one, Nexus S 4G, and the Motorola X with Android 2.2 is on top. Now let's go ahead and start this over again. We're going to start and see how this works. So 1,000 inserts, 25,000 inserts in transaction. But while this is running, I want to go ahead and just explain, you know, this phone, you know, I guess it would, you know, interest people who really want a pure Android device phone. You know, like me, you know, I've, from the previous phones that I've had, you know, they were carrier Android phones. So, it pretty much, you know, had a little bit of restriction, excuse me. You know, unlike Google, you know, it's you know, easy to root it. You know, I mean, I haven't rooted my phone, and I'm not going to root it. But just for those of you, you know, who are you know, tech savvy, or you just, you know, you're really good at rooting phones, you know, you can definitely root this phone pretty easily, from what I've been told. But you know, I really like this phone. You know, it doesn't have none of that carrier bloatware stuff. You know, it just comes clean with Google apps. You know, it was pretty much bare. You know, it didn't have any apps. You know, really. You really couldn't even, you know, when I went to the app drawer, you know, you really couldn't even see the little 3D effect because there weren't really that much apps on it. So, you know, I did, you know, fill it up with some stuff. It's still running on the 1,000 inserts. Like I said, you know, it's not as not going as fast. But I mean, this phone is a pretty decent phone. You know, it's you know, if you really love, you know, straight Android, you know, pure Android, no carrier bloatware, you know, no carrier, you know, phones, you know, like the Epic 4G, you know, the Evo, you know, this phone might be for you. But you know, if you want really, you know, top speed or whatever, you know, if you don't mind so much of having those bloatware apps, you know, then I guess it wouldn't bother you to check out different phones, you know. You know, the Epic 4G was pretty good, but I just wanted a pure Android phone, you know. Just strictly me, you know, it's just how I am. I personally, I like this phone. A scale from 1 to 10, I would possibly give it, I would say an 8. You know, being a fanboy, I probably would give it more, but I'm gonna be very honest. You know, I'm unbiased. You know, I would give it an 8. You know, it's not as fast as it says it is. You know, it's at a decent speed. Again, it ranked at 3rd at the benchmark. So that's, again, you know, a little disappointing. You know, I felt, you know, okay, I got the Nexus S, you know, I got pure Android on my side. You know, let's see how it you know, stacks up against the other phones. You know, the half-breed phones, like I call it. But to my disappointment, you know, it's at 3rd. So you know, it's not that bad. And then look at the Samsung Galaxy S phone at Android 2.1. It's right under the HTC Legend, 2 steps under the Nexus S 4G. Not that bad. Other than that, you know, it's a pretty decent phone. As I said again, you know, it's not terrible. I know some people. I've read some reviews. Some people say they don't like it. You know, some people say they do. You know, I guess it just depends. You know, if you don't want, you know, none of that carrier stuff. If you don't want a carrier phone, you want strictly Android. You know, this UI. I love this UI. It's my favorite. You know, you have your little phone icon, the web icon, and then the apps. You know, that's how I like it. You know, and then, you know, the notification bar. I think it's just a sexy notification bar. Let me just say that black is just that's one of my favorite colors. I like it. It's awesome. You know, the little battery icon, you know, green, you know, turns yellow after, you know, it's at 15%. Then when it gets lower than that, I believe it turns red, but I haven't seen it get to that point yet because I don't let it get to that point. After, you know, let's say I stop charging it, after I wake up in the morning, I stop charging it around 10 in the morning or so, 9 in the morning. Interesting though is that when I check the status, you go to settings, you go all the way down to about phone status, you can see the battery level. Mine's at 39% right now. Now it's 38. But when I wake up in the morning, it says it's fully charged. You know, it's fully charged up. But then when I go to the status, it says, you know, it's at 95%, 94. Even most of the time, it's at 91, which is interesting. You know, most of the smartphones I've had, they do that. So, you know, I didn't find that, you know, suspicious or anything like that at all. So don't be wary. You know, that's just, I guess that's how these phones are. After a whole day's use, you know, I work and I'm not allowed to use my phone a lot. So, but when I do take my break, you know, I go to Facebook. You know, I go on the web. You know, go to different websites. I use 4G. 4G would really wipe out your battery, you know, pretty quick. You know, the other day, yesterday actually, as a matter of fact, I was on my way to work and I put 4G. I was watching a video. I had like 90% of battery percentage and it went from 84. So you got to watch it with the 4G. If you're, you know, if you're a power hungry person, you know, you want, you know, a lot of power, you know, more power for your use, then, you know, you might want to watch it on the web usage, you know, phone call usage as well. You know, you're on the phone, you don't want to use it as much. But yeah, be wary of the 4G. You know, if you really need it, you know, if you want to check your bank account, whatever, go ahead and use it. You know, I do that too, but I don't like to use it a lot. Wi-Fi, to me, like I said, this can vary. Wi-Fi, I found it was interesting. Wi-Fi didn't really eat up my battery a lot. Last night, I was watching some Netflix videos on my phone on Wi-Fi, and it wasn't that bad. It was actually it was at like around 83%, and it went down to like 78. Wasn't, you know, it didn't eat up my battery a lot, and I was pretty much using it for like about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and it, you know, I would expect it to you know, to be drained out, but it wasn't. Another interesting app is, of course, Netflix, which is only available for selected Android apps. It runs pretty well on 4G and Wi-Fi. It works on 3G as well, of course. 3G would start off kind of grainy, you know, but the quality would improve, you know, as you're watching the video. With 4G and Wi-Fi, same issue, but, you know, the quality, you know, it improves a little bit more faster while you're watching the video. You know, it's just all these videos here. As a matter of fact, you know, I was watching World War II in HD. Let's resume that. And it's running on 4G. You know, basically it's a 4G phone, so I want to show you what it can do on 4G. I think yesterday I was watching it on my Nintendo Wii, so I don't know.
This program contains rare films of World War II originally shot in color, found during a 2-year worldwide search. Much of it has never been seen on television before. These films are presented.
You tap it, you know, you can actually drag the little circle there, and you know, you can just skip to whatever scene you want to go to. You know, it's a little grainy at first, just a bit grainy, but after that, if you wait for like a few more seconds, you know, it gets more clearer. And and I was actually pretty excited to use this, on my phone because the Epic 4G does not currently have Netflix support, to watch streaming videos. So I was very, very excited. My wife has her Windows phone, and use the Netflix app right there, and as soon as Nexus S came out, they said that they will support that, so I was pretty excited about that. It was pretty good. All right, let's get out. All right, and so that's pretty much it. I mean, as I mentioned, on the description box, I will have all the specs and information of this phone, that I did not cover. But pretty much this was just my own experience, review of this phone. Again, like I said, I would probably give this phone 8 out of 10. It is fast. At time it lags, but it depends on how much you actually download on your phone. The internal storage memory is 16 gigs, but when you get it right off the box, it actually has like 14 or so, or even 13, I believe. So we might want to watch it at times. I put most of my apps, and I have actually placed them in my USB storage. You can go to manage apps, which is also a pretty nice little feature of the phone. Here are my downloaded apps. All of the apps are in here that came pre-installed and with my downloaded USB storage, which would be under the 16 gig. So I used 2.4 gigs out of 11. So I think it was 13 that came in the box, and then running. So it's not bad, guys. I mean, this phone is pretty good. Again, like I said, it'll be 8 out of 10, in my opinion. Aside from being a fanboy, I would say just an 8. I was expecting more from this phone, but just fell a little short. But it's not that bad. It fits my lifestyle. I like it. So it's a good phone. So again, thank you guys so much for checking out my review. Again, check the bottom of the video and you'll see more detailed information on the specs of the phone. Thanks a lot, guys. You have a good day.